What annoys you most? Anything?
Slow play.
Slow play.
Yeah, well, yeah, on the golf course, slow play.
Slow play. Slow play.
I'd have to say slow play.
I can really hate a person for that, yeah.
You know, I mean, no one likes to kind of just hit and have to wait forever.
In recent months, slow play has crept back into the conversation in the professional game, with a few well-documented cases making the headlines and prompting the question, is professional golf too slow? As we found out, the speed of the game is a problem that's been around for many years.
I think it's always been a problem. It's always progressively getting worse, and I'll use this as a great example. At Marion, for the US Open, there was a notice placed in the locker room that talked about how the pace was slowing down, how it was outrageous at the previous year's US Open, how it's going to ruin the game, and they need to do something and do something about it now. I'm not talking about 2013, this was 1950. And the USGA head at the time was saying that last year, meaning 1949 at Medina, they were playing threesomes in 3 hours and 37 minutes, and this was unacceptable, which is laughable now. Is it a problem? I think it's perceived as a problem when Jay Monahan of the PGA Tour doesn't see it as a problem, and that seems like a problem in itself. But I'd also say this, it's the very nature of the game of golf, not that you and I play it, but as they play it, in terms of the prize money, in terms of the course setup, in terms of the entertainment value.
As big as the game's gotten with the money, I mean, we've got so many guys that are making over $1 million now. And when I played, way back when, it was, you had a couple of guys that were making a lot of money and everybody else was kind of scraping it around, So the money's gotten a lot bigger, the stakes have gotten a lot bigger. I think people just don't want to hit until they're ready.
What I think is troubling about it is that the players don't seem to care about it. The ones who are causing the most problems seem to have the attitude that, hey, this is my career, this is my life, it's important for me to make sure I get it right, and whether that holds everybody else up or makes us look bad on television is not my problem. And that's the thing that disturbs me the most about it now. I was not pleased to hear the way that J.B. Holmes responded to the criticism that he got at Torrey Pines for taking over 4 minutes to hit a layup shot into the rough on the last hole of the tournament and really cause a problem for Alex Noren, who's trying to win a golf tournament in the same group with him.
One of the slowest moments in golf was actually one of the more dramatic when Faldo was on the 13th at Augusta in 1996 trying to debate between a 5-wood and a 2-iron, and just him thinking through it was very dramatic. So there's times where it's okay, I think, to take a long time to decide over an important shot. The problem we had at Torrey Pines is that J.B. Holmes is not Nick Faldo, and the Farmers Insurance Open is not the Masters. And I think that exacerbated the problem greatly, especially, I mean, apparently it took 4 minutes. It took, let's call it the Roger Bannister. And there was that one moment where he and his caddy looked like wax figures standing there because they weren't moving. I mean, he had his arm over the clubs, and the caddy was sitting there like this, and they weren't doing anything for the longest time, and that made it look even worse.
Arguably the biggest concern is the trickle-down effect on young golfers witnessing slow play and then replicating it in the game at the lower levels.
You see that junior players are being taught these pre-shot routines. They're being basically told that this is how you play the game and you have to have a very specific regimented pre-shot routine, and that is what leads to these guys growing up and becoming the same problem that we have now.
I remember about 5 or 6, 7 years ago, I spoke with Rory and Ricky and Dustin and Brandt Snedeker. They were all younger at the time coming through, and they were all very quick players. But again, you go back to the number of players they put on a golf course, there's nowhere to go. And if you're standing around waiting all day, you're going to go crazy, and so you just learn to slow down. Rory's not nearly as quick as he was in 2008.
The European Tour has decided to combat slow play by introducing shot clocks at events like Golf Sixes and the forthcoming Shot Clock Masters in Austria, the first tournament ever to have a shot clock on every shot a player hits.
I love those concepts, and I love the events that do it, and I think it's a great alternative for them, but I don't think you can take it to a major championship and suddenly have shot clocks or things like that. It's a very hard thing to police in terms of a group being put on the clock, and 2 of the guys might not be the problem in the group. One guy might, but the rest of the guys are getting punished for one guy's indiscretions.
I like the thought process, and I love the European Tour, all the stuff they do, the videos that they do, and breaking the world record for the fastest times. I think they're great. I watch all that stuff, but I don't know if we'll be there with a shot clock full time all the time, but I like the thought process. What can we do to make things faster?